So today we're going to be learning how to convert from the customary system to the metric system. So the U.S. customary system is a system of measurement that contains units for length, capacity, and weight. So we use like miles per hour, we use gallons, we use quarts. The rest of the world literally uses this thing called the metric system, which is basically the same thing. They call it length, capacity, and mass. They use the decimal system based on powers of 10. So this is a good skill to learn if you are ever traveling outside of the US because they don't use the same type of measurements that we do. So let me show you a conversion factor using our system. So a conversion factor is a rate that equals 1. So for example, 1 year over 52 weeks equals 1 because they both mean the same thing. 1 foot equals 12 inches, so on. So two things that equal the same amount is a conversion factor. To convert from one unit to another, you need to use conversion factors and set up labeled fractions. Diagonal labels need to be able to cross-cancel, which is different than cross-canceling with numbers. So I'm going to explain to you what this means. The good thing about this is you're going to have a chart that tells you all the conversions, so you don't have to memorize them, and you're going to be able to use a calculator instead of actually doing out the math. But you have to learn how to set it up first. So let me show you the first one. It says convert 30 feet into inches. So you take the first thing in the problem and you write it as a fraction over 1. So 30 feet over 1. Labeling is extremely important. Then you're going to multiply that by the conversion rate that you would get from your paper. We want to get rid of feet, so that goes on the bottom. We want inches, because that's what the problem says, so that goes on the top. Now you look at your chart and figure out how many inches are in a foot. So according to the chart, 1 foot equals 12 inches. So that means I have to put 1 next to foot, 12 next to inches. When it says cross-cancel the labels, that means you look diagonally across and if they have the same label, you cross out the label. So that's what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 30 times 12 is 360. The label is now inches, and that is our answer. So that means 30 feet is the same exact thing as 360 inches. Okay, so I'm going to try the next one. This is now converting from our customary, which is ounces, to metric, which is grams. So let's take a look. 10 ounces, I'm going to write as 10 ounces over 1. So the first thing they give you, you write as a fraction over 1. You're multiplying it by the conversion. Since we want to get rid of ounces, that label goes on the bottom. Since we want grams, that label goes on the top. Now you would look at your conversion chart. So I'm looking for one that says grams and ounces. So that happens to be right here. 1 ounce, so I'll put a 1 next to ounce, equals 28.350 grams. So 28.350 grams. Okay, now we want to solve this. Your ounces are going to cross cancel. That's the whole point. And now you're going to multiply these across. So you could type this into the calculator if you want. So 10 times 28.350 equals 283.5 grams over 1. So that would be my final answer. Okay, so I'm going to have you flip over your notes and we'll try some practice ones. Okay, let's take a look at this first one here. It says convert 36 quarts to gallons. So we're going to write 36 quarts over 1. Then we have to multiply it by the conversion. Quarts goes on the bottom because we want to get rid of it. Gallons goes on the top. Then you're going to look on your chart for quarts to gallons. Okay, so let's see if I can find this one. Quarts to gallons. Okay. So on here, I have that 1 quart equals 2 pints, or actually 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So if I'm trying to go from quarts to gallons, I have 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So 1 gallon, 4 quarts. Okay. Now, quarts is going to disappear. I'm going to multiply across. 36 times 1 is 36. 1 times 4 is 4. And then the last part is to divide these two. So you could use a calculator, but I could just do this in my head. So I get 9. The label is gallons. Okay, so if you have 36 quarts, that's the same thing as 9 gallons. So you write the first thing over 1, put that label on the bottom. You want whatever you're trying to turn it into goes on top. Look at the chart for the conversion. So I literally just found that right from the chart, copied it in, multiply across, And then in this one, you have to divide. Sometimes you have to do a second step of dividing. Sometimes you don't. Okay, let's try the next one. Convert 20 centimeters, so 20 centimeters over 1, to inches. Centimeters goes on the bottom, inches goes on the top. So now I'm going to look on my chart for centimeters to inches, which is actually the very top one here. So 1 centimeter equals 0.394 inches. 0.394 inches. The labels are going to cross cancel. That's the entire point. And I'm going to multiply across using my calculator. So 20 times 0.394 equals 7.88 inches over 1, which is just 7.88 inches. So 20 centimeters equals 7.88 inches. Okay, I'm going to have you pause and try these two, setting them up the same way. The first thing goes over 1. You want to get rid of quarts, so that goes on the bottom, gallons goes on the top, and then see if you could try this one. You're using your chart and your calculator. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Now they're saying which one is, or actually the same thing. We're converting from 48 feet to yards. So I'll do the first one for you, and then you're going to try the second one. So 48 feet over 1. You want to get rid of feet, so that goes on the bottom. Yards goes on the top. Then you have to look at your chart for yards to feet. Okay, so right on this chart here, 1 yard equals 3 feet. So put 1 next to yard, 3 next to feet. Now I'm going to cross cancel my labels, so feet and feet disappear. Multiply across. 48 times 1 is 48. 1 times 3 is 3. You can use the calculator if you want to do the division, but I just happen to know that 48 divided by 3 is 16. And then make sure you have your label. So 16 yards. So that means 48 feet, 16 yards are the same thing. So I'm going to have you set up and try these two. Use your charts to find your conversions, and you can use your calculator. Okay, so now it says figure out which one's bigger, 25 ounces or 2 kilograms. So what I'm going to do, you can do it either way, but I'm going to figure out how many ounces are in a kilogram or how many kilograms are in a pound, whichever is easier. I might do ounces to kilograms. So I'm going to do 25 ounces over 1 times, I want to get rid of ounces and I want kilograms. So I'm going to put ounces on the bottom, kilograms on the top. So I'm looking at my chart right now. It says 1 ounce is equal to, where are we, 28.3 kilograms. Okay, copying this from the chart. So now I'm going to multiply this across. Ounces are going to disappear. To do this on my calculator, 28.3 times 25 equals, okay, so I have 707.5 kilograms. They're asking which one is bigger. So this is now 707.5 kilograms. So they're saying, is this bigger or is this bigger? They're both kilograms. So clearly the one with the bigger number would be the bigger answer. Okay, let's try this one together. We want to go from feet to centimeters. So I'm going to do 2 feet over 1, and then I'm going to put feet on the bottom to get rid of it, centimeters on the top. I'm looking at my chart. It says 1 foot, so 1 next to feet, equals 30.48 centimeters. So 30.48 centimeters. Feet are going to cross cancel. I'm going to multiply this out on my calculator. So 2 times 30.48 equals 60.96 centimeters. So this becomes 60.96. And they want to figure out which one's bigger. They're both centimeters now, so it's just the one with the bigger number. Okay? I'm going to have you try this one. So it says 5 quarts. And they want you to turn it into liters. Okay, so quarts on the bottom, liters on the top. You find your conversion, do it out on the calculator. So that would be your last one.